Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Kind of genius that I am. When we're filming, we don't turn on the microphone. So now we have to do this without uh, sound. Now I'm, doing this with voiceover. So I'm showing you this jig because I'm going to make an assist hook for this jig. I'm showing you exactly where the position is supposed to be. And with this jig, we're going to be using midge flash. Now, midge flash, as you can see here, is actually just the same thing, only in a smaller size. And the midge flash that I'm showing you here is green because I don't have anything other than green, which from back in my fly tying days, I had this. So here, I'm trying to not show you my butt crack or my out of focus chair. I'm actually trying to get an example, and here it is. So this is the Jigpara Micro 15 gram, and you can see the flash that's used here. Okay, trying to compare it with the midge flash. Of course, you'll see that the midge flash is thinner, but you don't really see the size difference because so smart, of me to actually show it to you inside the plastic bag. So I just realized that, and I go like, hey, you know what? It's probably better if we took like one or two strands and show them. And that's exactly how I heard myself in my head. And, while I was doing all this hand gestures. And then how I do it is I take my pair of scissors. I just poke a hole in the plastic bag, you see here. Because you don't want to cut it and then have it like this is like worse than a guy with an afro and a very bad hair day. You don't want your flash to just, have at you when you're what do you call this, taken out of the plastic. So what you do is just poke a small hole because the object here is to get one or two strands. So one strand right there, and then as I was about to cut it, I go like, fuck it, I'll just have two. All right, which works for me after this, and you'll see why. So there's a demonstration of how you use a pair of scissors. So there we go. Now you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so the width of these crystal flash is actually half the width of the normal stuff, and especially when you're doing the smaller stuff, small hooks like this, you want smaller flash. And there I am also demonstrating how to count with your fingers, and I counted 8. Right, so now what we're gonna do is we take our braid. This is 0.4 dangan braid from Major Craft, and we tie a base right here. Okay, because braid is slippery, and what you want is for your thread not to slip when you're tightening things. So there I am. Okay, use a knife to cut when you braid, because guess what, your scissors will actually dull up. All right, now there we go. This is my feeble attempt to line up the ends right there. Okay, now things have gotten progressively difficult when you're tying, or when I'm tying stuff, because my eyes are degrading fast because of diabetes. It's type 2, but it's acquired, so it sucks. There we go, another demonstration of how you use scissors. Now, miraculously, from 2 strands, you have 4 strands. And if you fold them over like this, you get 8. And that, boys and girls, is how you count. Now, you bind it, okay, so that it doesn't go anywhere. Much like, you handcuff someone on a bed. There you go. Bang! When your OCD strikes, you have to cut all the strands perfectly. And then you give it a little bit of a twist action there, just so they don't become unruly. Because if you're tying on an afro at the back right there, it's gonna make things very difficult for you. So just for your OCD's sake, there we go. But see, here's the thing, I don't have OCD. I just pretend to have that, so that the audience has like a sense of something, I guess. Just make you like, there we go. Like you saw that was tiny. That's the tiniest solid ring I could find. And then what I did was to take the PE assist line from Cultiva. This is Powerflex PFP 03, 55 pounds. And as you can see, it has an insert, which I took off. Okay. And then I basically stretch it out. Okay. What this does is make the braid thinner because it collapses everything, right? So you could see me just fingering it right there and then inserting it. There we go. Folding it, right? Trying to align the tips. Again, just pretending that I have OCD, which I don't. I really don't. I just pretend like that. There we go. See? And then trying to show you exactly where it's supposed to be, but in reality, I kind of lucked out. You know, it was total luck that I had the length that I needed. But, you know, just there, I just show it to you so that you have the illusion that I'm intending for things to happen the way it happened. And, you know, you insert that to the hole, okay? And then you try to twist around the shank right there to form a knot. And here I am with big sausage fingers trying to do it, you know? And then I go tell myself like, oh my God, this is impossible, especially if you're on camera, you're showing this and all that. Not gonna happen, boy. There you go, trying to fiddle with things and thinking that it would cure itself like most people, right? And then I go like, okay, I might be able to do it. No. And no matter how I finger it, as you can see there, not gonna happen, boy. See, I point and say like, you're a little shit. Take it off, and I go like, hey, there has to be a better way. So you pull out. When in doubt, you just pull it out and then think of something. So here I am pretending to like know what I'm doing. And here I just stood up. At this point in time, I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I'm looking for something, and I go like, you know, just stand up, walk around, make the people watching think that I really bang. And here we are. We're back because I pressed a button, and before you know it, you know, the volume was all over the place, and bang, I'm back. Hey, motherfuckers, check this out. Pointing at the hook. And then I go like, hey, look, I have a piece of mono, and it's white. So you can see it. And then I'm going to show you, again, like pretending to have OCD, but in reality, I just wanted to show you like an out of focus logo of Jurassic Park. That plays into the scenario, ladies and gentlemen, as we progress. And you can see me just trying to put the assist hook. See, here's the thing. The assist hook cord. But see, here's the thing, right? I do this, and I know that it's just going to stay at the side of my desk. And there I go. You know, I'm done. We're going back to the hook. There I go. Made a loop, right? And then fingering the loop. Yep. Put it on top. And then one loose wrap. All right? One loose wrap. And then I take my assist cord, trying to pretend to pull one end and make it equal to the other, just like that, you know. Then again, just pretending I have OCD, you know, because the devil is in the details, according to some people. And then I insert. There we go. Yeah, boy. We got it in. Yeah. Insert and then push it in deep. There we go. And then twist it around, as you can see here, going around the shank. Okay. Because at this point, you'll know that it's actually it's easy to deal with two holes, especially this one that you can, you know, with this loop right there. It's actually easier to, just put the loop over the strands right there. It's really easier than trying to insert the whole thing on the loop that you've created on the shank of the hook. Right there, bang. As you can see, even with that, I'm having difficulty. Just shows you how much of an old man I am. And I made it difficult because I actually looped it towards the middle. If I did it towards the end, it would have been better. But there we go. But because of the rough surface of the braid, it's kind of stubborn. All right. So two things that you could do here: wet the line, which lubricates things, and as you know, holes and lubrication, when you're trying to insert things, really does help. But I don't want to spit on this. Uh, it's kind of unsanitary. So what I do is use a tool to pry the hole open, and just shows you that any sort of thing that you're doing, um, if it becomes difficult, then you could use a tool to just either destroy it or pry things. Normally, because we're men, we use the wrong tool. Like, especially for right here, I could have used a bodkin and probably made my life easier. But no, I used the tip of my scissors, blunt as they are. And I'm thinking like, hey, I'm such a genius for doing this, and there I'm trying to just coax things until voila, you could see, bang, just like that, with the aid of a tool, I managed to get it in. And boy, look at that. And then I did another smart thing here. At this point in time, I could have used a pair of pliers to actually, oh, there. See, this is what I'm talking about. I did this to show you guys, like, check this out. I got it in the right length. Even if it just happened entirely by accident and I just pretended to actually, like, yeah, I done it. So here's the smart thing. I shouldn't have cut this, right? And by God, look at that, so close to the fingers. But we're exhibitionists in this channel, so we do that. But what I could have done was actually not cut it, but tighten it while the tags were long. So don't do what I'm doing here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so you can see there, everything can be solved with a knife. And if it can't be solved with a short knife, you extend or look for a longer knife. As you can see here, that's when I was able to cut it. All right, now here's the smart thing. I take this hook and, try to tighten things. I should have done this when the tags were long. All right, so don't do it, boys and girls. I don't, like, in all seriousness, it should have been what I've done here. And then, I even, I don't know what came over me there. I tried to do it with my right hand, where in fact, it would have been better if it was with my left, gripping the pliers and all that so that I can tighten, And as I'm doing here, I'm doing it like both at the same time. You could actually do this one by one. All right, but anyway, the pliers has done its job, as you can see there. And then a little binding action going on there. All right, so bind the tags, and what this does is that every single time the solid ring gets pressure, it tightens the knot. So it further compresses that. All right. Now, I don't know why I held this tool right there. Okay, the hook, yeah, but the other one, I just didn't want to go empty-handed, I guess. So just binding it like so. That's pretty much done there, and I'm pointing and saying that I don't go past the hook point. So now we're gonna do a whip finish, showing you some fly tying skills right there. And once is not enough, so you do it twice. Right? Once is never enough. Do it twice, at the very least. Boom. Tightened it so much that it cut the braid, which is fine. It didn't unravel, and it's at this point this is done. And what you could do is actually put super glue on that, which obviously I did not at this point in time. So I take the camera out of the closer focus just to show you an awesome shirt and a double chin. There we go. Thanks to my wife for buying me these really cool shirts. So you'll see that below is the jawline of Tyrannosaurus Rex, and outside is the double jaw of the fishing kit. So I take a split ring, which I found in my box, which was, believe it or not, it was a load-bearing split ring, but there was nothing else that I could find. like a cheaper version, then bang, there we go. But you don't need a load bearing split ring on this, but it's fine to use as well. The jig is not gonna be what do you call this? It's not gonna be subjected to a pull from the back end or the fish. It's going to be straight to the hook, to your line right there. So you don't need a load bearing split ring. But there we go. I had it, put it there, and then even if I had the monitor on and I could show that it's not in frame, I still keep on going because I was looking at the jig more than I was at the monitor. Whoop! There we go. You can see that auto focusing is also on, and it's focusing in and out. My double chin, the shirt. Oh, here comes the jig. All right, so I chose this hook size because in the event that the hook actually sits on the side there. Oh, here we go. Here's the trick. Okay, see what I did there? It does two things. One, it stretched out the hook so that the gap was bigger a little bit. All right, that's A. And B, to tighten the hook, the knot there even more. So you can see there again, very out of focus, focusing in and out. Yeah. And I was trying to think that, hey, I'm gonna probably do a thumbnail, but bang, there we go. So I don't know why I just didn't bother cutting at this point. Probably because I'm too lazy to restart the video. But there we go. So I took it off of the focusing, autofocus, so that I could show you this. So there's the hook, okay, and you'll see now that I'm gonna put the hook at the back or one side of the jig, and you'll see exactly why I chose this. Okay, so here I am trying to find a way to display this for you guys, but the hook, the pliers, the needle point on that is too big still, so I'm using this mini, really tiny ass split ring pliers from Daiwa. Here's another genius move. Instead of using the end with a notch, I use the one without, and then show you for a second there that bang, it works. No, and then once is not enough for an idiot, so do it again because I thought that it was gonna work, but no, and then I gave up. But just to show you guys, here we go. Put it to the side. All right, see the hook? It's now stretched out a little bit, so it's the right size or shape that I want. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm talking about here. Probably just like, oh, this will make for a nice thumbnail or whatever. And there, keep it from shaking. But you could see there that if the hook is actually at the back, right, the gap makes it so the point is still sticking out the other side. And that's very important because you don't know what position this jig is going to be when the fish strikes. So you want at least the hook point to be visible at all times. Kind of like a cell phone that makes you reachable for most times. So this hook is the same thing. Now, when it is, where is it? I'm trying to wait for myself. I don't exactly know what I'm talking about here, but there we go. There, see that? See? So even if it sits flush on the other side like that, you'll find that the hook point is actually sticking out to the side, and that's something that's very important. All right. So, and all I'm saying here is like, oh man, look at that framing. That's for the thumbnail. Framing. Yeah, there we go. And blabbing, right? The jaw. Oh my god. Like my double chin. Holy crap. I'm a fat ass. I should lose weight. I'm telling myself that while I'm talking to you guys. There, I don't exactly know what I'm talking about at that point, but there we go. You can see I lucked out with the length exactly where I wanted. This is a 7-gram jig. Mold is from Do It. All right, so that's it. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Class dismissed.